Hi, everyone. This is Randi Weingarten, and I'm back to share another week of updates across the AFT, this time from Detroit. But this time I want to do something really focusing on the seismic changes that AI and big tech are having on education and on the efforts by AFT and by so many others to ensure that we mitigate the harms of AI as people have promoted the benefits. So Jessica Winter, who is a writer and a parent from the New Yorker, really cataloged the dangers of big tech and AI and technology in schools. She dug into the research detailing how exposure to AI at a young age harms learning, development, and well-being, and she lifted up the AFT's efforts to ensure that educators, not big tech, are the center of how this technology should be used in the classroom, like what we're trying to do with the National Academy for AI Instruction. We are trying to make sure that teachers, not others, actually are in the driver's seat there. It was also the topic of my monthly New York Times column that came out last Sunday, where I called for devices down, eyes up, hands-on learning. And in the piece, I've called for, as we have over and over, common sense guardrails on AI and ed tech, where you keep the student-teacher relationship at the heart of education, and where we have to move towards active learning, to project-based instruction, as we do in career and tech ed. And you can read all about the column at aft.org. We're also seeing action at a district level, with LAUSD restricting all screen time for students until second grade, something we're thinking about doing as well, and generally limiting screen time. And speaking of LA, I want to congratulate the UTLA on their great new contract. Now, there's a lot of other things that happened this week, including the fact that Virginia turned out to protect our democracy in a big way. They approved a temporary redistricting measure and frankly repudiated the overreach of the Trump administration and of Congress. And it's worth noting that Virginia and California were the only two redistricting efforts that went to the people instead of being engineered through a rigged legislature. Remember, Trump said to Republicans, change the lines. And now what has happened in the places where the lines were changed, particularly where people voted on it, people voted the opposite direction. We also were in court in two very big cases. We had an emergency motion in Oregon to keep ICE out of hospitals, schools, and churches, and we think that we're going to be successful in that motion. And the court seemed like it was going our way. But in Texas, we went to the courts to halt the Texas Education Agency's illegal and politically driven targeting of Texas educators for expressing their personal opinions outside of the classroom. And while shining the light forced the TEA to reduce its investigations of educators from 350 to 2, we are really disappointed that the judge sided with the state and against our freedoms and the Constitution, and we will continue to fight for and defend our members' freedom of speech and expression. Last thing I want to talk about is May Day. It's coming up a week from today. It's often thought about as a global Labor Day, rooted in worker solidarity and collective civil nonviolent action. And so the AFT and labor movement and many others are joining in actions all across the country this May Day about what is at stake right now. And so we're encouraging members to do things, to be engaged in civic revival, or to be engaged in economic resistance, and to do lots of different things, including voter participation and voter registration. So go to our website, and you'll see it at mayday.org or at aft.org. So last, I want to say we want to congratulate the Cleveland, the faculty and staff at Menlo Park Charter School in Cleveland for ratifying their first contract. I'll see you next week. Many of us will be out there next Friday in terms of May Day, but the bottom line is every single day, our members are fighting for a better life for all. Thank you.